be they from the past life or not. Some healings as a result of our emotional feelings. Sometimes we are so angry with somebody and before you know it, something pops up. But when you walk with the inner master, he makes you face that thing that is causing the illness. And it's only when you know the cause that the healing can really take place. I remember the story of a young man who became sick. And when I say sick, emotionally sick, he had a fiancé that last minute said, "You can't be my husband." So the necessarily particular painful thing.
Peter, the next question I would like you to take on, it's quite direct. And Peter, the next question I would like you to take on, it's quite direct. And this individual is asking, and I quote, "Do Eckankar followers do sacrifices?"
We don't do sacrifices. By the sacrifice, I understand there is maybe sacrificing a lamb or sheep or something. We don't do any form of sacrifice whatsoever. However, the kind of sacrifice which is used in another context, we give service. For instance, if you have the opportunity to be on the road and see a woman wanting to cross the road, and she's quite elderly and cannot manage crossing the road, you can inconvenience yourself, sacrifice your time, clear your car, and then take her across the road. That is the kind of service, that one of the things that you can do as sacrifice of service. But to sacrifice a lamb or any of these animals for anything, we don't do it.
Dobbin, this question asked by an individual goes like this.
It is not limited to this person who has asked the question. Several persons have always experienced this kind of feeling. Personally, I had it several years ago when, during my National Youth Service, my colleague, who was already a member of Eckankar, would be telling me, "White, this will happen." They're asking, how does he talk to God that he gets answers and me I'm not getting? That's the kind of feeling that people have when they have exhausted the level of truth given to them by whatever way, and they become aware that there is something more that they should learn. Then that feeling of emptiness comes. It's at that point that they want to make a further search into what is beyond. And that in Eckankar is called the call of soul. Several people go through this call of soul. And when they go through it, the best way to do it is to ask. Ask around, what can I do? Now in my own case, I was so lucky. I didn't have to go around to ask. But just like the last questioner's situation, sacrifice. I remember my colleague had a challenge on his hands. He had to travel home, and he left his card for me to collect his monthly allowance, which I did. And then, in packing my room, I felt I should do a sacrifice by packing and cleaning his room. While I was doing that, I saw the Ek books. Mind you, earlier, I had quarreled him over Eckankar. So when I saw the Ek books, I said, these are the secret books that are giving him all the opportunity to tell a little bit of the future. And then I picked one. In my soul, I'm free. And I thank God for picking that book. But that was because I made a sacrifice to clean his room. And we agreed as tenants to use the surplus. And we agreed as tenants to use the surplus to repair a part of the building. And then the landlord was mad with me and 3 others. But when he found that he could not put me to any danger, because he had brought 3 native doctors separate times, and 2 of them ended up fighting him, he brought his cousin to physically manhandle me. And that day I just returned from work, and my dinner was set. He just came in. This man wore a fighting shirt short, put some native chalk on his face. So as he came, he opened. Say, you are eating, eh? Okay, I'll come back. When you finish, let me know. So I said, what problem is this? So I quietly sang you. I did not eat. I sang you. And then I quietly took my meal, after which I sang you again and said, my auntie, you will be here with me to answer this man. So I stood by the door and beckoned on him because he was waiting up. It was a one-story building. So when he came down, and I said, please sit down, I noticed a change in everything. Then he asked, where are you from? I said, I'm from so-so town. Which compound? I mentioned the compound. When I mentioned my grandfather's name, he said, you are that man's grandson? I said, yes. So, my brother, what happened? I have become a brother. Say, what happened? When I introduced the matter to him, the next 10 minutes, he was fighting with the landlord up.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you, Durban, for all the... Bye.